We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Yeah, we got another live show for you this evening, and much like Hockey Day itself, I expect it to be a lot of fun and a little chaotic. I got 6 committee members of Hockey Day in Houston here in the chat with us. If you don't already know that this Saturday is Hockey Day in Houston, then I'm not sure that you've been watching the show. St. Arnold's Brewery, we're going to have lots of hockey fans, NHL alumni, the Dallas Stars. We'll talk about all the stuff that's coming up. But because the event has gotten so massive, I can't just have one person on to talk about it. So as of right now, we got 6 committee members. Here joining me today, we have the co-chairs of Hockey Day in Houston, some familiar faces and some new ones. We got Lance Rosenberg is rejoining the show tonight. Ryan Brooks, who is and y'all can correct me if I get some of the titles wrong, our planning committee chairman. We have Marc Tushnet is rejoining the show with Oil Kings Hockey Club and the Memorial Day Shootout. A former Flyers executive and one of the integral members of the Hockey Day community, Mary Adler, is joining us. And Michel Petit is rejoining the show, 18-year NHL veteran, founder of Blue Line Slapshot. And we have the president of the incredibly fast-growing HTX Storm, Eric Kimmel. So let's see how this winds up when we get everyone in chat here. Everyone, welcome. Hey, this doesn't look too bad at all. I think we're fine. Yeah. How is everyone?
Hey, good to see you.
It's the Brady Bunch right now, Matt.
Right?
Tush, look up. Tush, look
right.
up. Look up, Tush. There we go. I'm looking over.
Well, all right. We'll be a little chaotic, but I don't mind. So I guess we should talk about the logistics, because every time that we look at photos, because I was going through looking for photos just to include on tonight's live stream, and it's a massive event. Who can talk about the logistics of throwing all this together? I say throwing.
I'm going to kick it off, Matt. Similar to what we talked about. You know, Tush was with me with James Lightbody when this whole idea was, really brought up to St. Arnold. And all it took was social media and putting something, hey, come out, watch hockey with us. We called it Hockey Day in Houston, and Mary reached out to me. Already trying to figure out what we were going to do with it. I'm going to turn it over to Mary for exactly what her thoughts were. So go ahead, Mary.
Thanks, Lance. And Matt, I have to correct you. I wasn't an executive with the Flyers, but Lance and I worked together at the arena.
I'm sorry.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that you were promoting me from my earlier position. But yeah, Lance posted on Facebook that he wanted to do something with hockey in Houston, and he and I worked together in Philly, and was interested. Reached out to him and was like, "Hey, I want to help. What are we doing here?" And he started telling me about, Brooksy and Tush and the other committee members, what they were trying to do. And I was like, great, let's get some PR around this. And then once we started getting it out to the media, it kind of started snowballing in a great way, getting more interest from vendors, from volunteers, from other people wanting to be a part of it. And the best part about it was the media was really interested. And then not to jump to it from the execution to the first event, but we saw Houstonians were also really interested in it. So it was fun from the behind the scenes part of it to reconnect with Lance, and then meet the group of gentlemen here to get it off the ground.
So how did we get from the planning stages to the block party concept that we have now for our 3rd year?
Well, Matt, it goes back 2019, my last day working at the ballpark. One of the executives of the Astros comes up to me and says, "Hey, do you know this guy Michel Petit? He said he played in the NHL." And I said, "Michel Petit?" And it took me, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm with my wife, And I turned to her, I'm going, there's no way this is Michel Petit. And it's Michel. So, as you heard the other day, first time I met Michel was probably when he was with the Flyers in '98. I was still in high school at that time, just fortunate to have gotten that opportunity. But then it really started as a friendship after, I graduated college playing and, we played with the Flyers alumni together, coached against each other, competed against each other in the ice rink business. But when I moved up to St. Louis, Michel and I stayed in touch, if not monthly, weekly, and sharing ideas like, hey, how do we make hockey, something special in Houston? And a lot of it comes, to our conversations there is like, how do I get Michel Petit, a guy who's 18 years, did so much for hockey in Philadelphia and, Central Jersey, South Jersey. How do we get him involved here? And, it just so happened to me that I relocated back to Houston and, our friendship, elevated that much more since we've been back. So, it's using the relationships we have. Tush with St. Arnold's, PC with USA Hockey, and the Dallas Stars. But I tell this story. I was on vacation, and Ryan Brooks calls me at like 8:30 in the morning. We're about to head out to breakfast. Hey, I got an idea. How do we do a scholar? We got to do a scholarship. Okay, what money, Brooksy? So Brooksy, let's talk about the scholarship, as that all started really the whole culmination of the planning.
Yeah, absolutely. So kind of a bunch of moving parts gave me the idea, right? So we started out months earlier as hockey players in business, trying to bring everybody together. And a small group of us started talking about Hockey Day in Houston. But one of the pillars of hockey players in business is give back, right? That's one of the pillars. And then as we started growing a group of volunteers organizing Hockey Day in Houston, one of our big missions for Hockey Day in Houston was community and how do we involve the community and give back to the community. And then as we fast forward, the Howe family got involved in what we were doing, and they were gracious enough to give us a great matching donation, which has allowed us to do what we're doing with scholarships now. But really, what the Howe Foundation is all about is kids first and women in the business of sports, right? So if you put all three of those concepts together, I just thought scholarships as part of this event was a no-brainer. How do we give back to the community? How do we engage the next generation of young adults involved in the hockey community? And if you'll notice, we've really engaged a lot of young women in hockey that want to go to school, that want to get involved in the business of sports and further their careers, right? So just really, I think, a great concept that Lance and I talked about, and the whole group just grabbed onto and got engaged. So, I think that as an organization, and as an event, Hockey Day in Houston has just done great things to give back by way of scholarship.
Okay, and this kind of gets back to something I wanted to ask y'all about, because we do have a lot of the younger players. We have the ISHL players. We have the HTX Storm. How do they view Hockey Day? Do they view it as a cool celebration of what they're doing, or is it one of those things where the adults are having fun, so this must be lame? How do they see Hockey Day?
Kimmel, that's all you, buddy.
Yeah, well, I definitely, it's not the latter.
Cool.
It is definitely not viewed as something, lame that just because the adults are doing. I think it's grown, over the last couple of years. Certainly has been led by the parents, but also the things that the activities that have been planned, the street hockey and the Stars involvement, and getting together, having friends show up at a great venue and spending time together with kind of all things hockey has been a big part of the draw from our side. side for our girls community. So hopefully we're to see those numbers grow and have even more.
Fantastic.
Matt, I'm going to jump in. Anytime we did this, I think the number one thing we were always worried about is you bring in an event like this without an NHL team, without professional hockey, how is it going to be perceived in the community? What is the purpose behind this event? Like, is there self gain? Is there opportunities, to put yourself ahead? And what's unbelievable is that everybody who's involved in this process, it's a team. And we share one great thing, and that's the passion of hockey. So, like, we hold each other accountable. So, like, Mary and I, we work in the entertainment industry. This is, so easy to us, from from an everyday job. But it's bringing out the passion from the Storm and the Junior Arrows and seeing things, how they can really unfold and turn into a super event. And, that's why when you add in guys like Michel and, his relationships in and around the game, just to add to the credibility, we knew those challenges. We were determined to overcome them. That's what Eric and we've had numerous conversations early on as we got to know each other that, hey, why are you doing this? And it really is. It's time that a group of volunteers, a group of passionate hockey fans, guys who used to play the game, we all rallied together to move the game forward, because until professional hockey returns, this is going to be our pride and joy. And I know that all 30 plus committee members, this is all they want to see is, more ice rinks in Houston, more hockey opportunity.
And Lance, and kind of just going off of everything you just said there, you probably have a better idea of the numbers, but after the first 2 years, we've seen an increase, and TC jump in too, in both rink times, in kids signing up, and women signing up. So whether or not we hear, the excitement or the complaints, Matt, like you were saying, we've seen the impact that this event has had in bringing new people to the sport.
I think, and it was told probably there was a early first year, family came to the event, and the mom now plays in Woe, the daughter's in the Storm, and they have a little one now. And, when you hear stories like that without, all the big corporate backing and the support that you see in the NHL and professional hockey markets, that's exactly it. I mean, in 2 years, we've raised over $80,000, given back $52,000 to the game of hockey, $12,000 in scholarships, and that's not including extra funds that have been passed on to other organizations to use it. So it's just, again, it goes back to just building a team, building a group of people who really just share the same mission, the same passion. And, as I said, we're not going to take the foot off the pedal right now, because I can tell you already there's going to be a meeting scheduled on Monday the 23rd to talk about next year.
Okay. So y'all both were talking about adding new players after Hockey Day, and it's attracting more players. So last year there was 5,000 roughly people showing up for Hockey Day. Probably more this year. That's this weekend, when Houstonians come to Hockey Day, get excited about hockey, and they want to play next weekend. Where do they go? Because are we solving the bottleneck between more players and not enough slabs of ice that we've been talking about?
Michel, go ahead. You got this one.
I'd like to say, I think I told you guys, about this, that I played 18 years in 10 different teams, and every team, does a similar thing, and everything, and not one NHL team I play for come close of what you guys, the group here, doing. And then when you think about it, there's not even an NHL team here. And to have this kind of outcome, it is incredible. My hat's off, for you guys and all of us. That I think that it is awesome, and hopefully, we'll have hockey here. And so. What was it again? Whoops.
About the ice, do we have enough ice? And Michelle, I'll pick it up since TC's not on. Since I've worked in the rinks, for every new sheet of ice, you need to have what's the equivalent of 120 new hockey players. It's a figure that's been shared with me by many others, and that's just to keep a rink healthy. That's 2 practices a week of ice, plus weekend games. So with the new rink opening, with 2 sheets of ice coming, we need to find a way to have 240 new hockey players here in Houston. What's amazing is that TC shared with me his Learn to Skate program has over 100 kids on the ice at one time, and he says, think about it. It seems like a lot, but what's unbelievable, and people don't realize this, and Eric does because his coaches are outstanding, and the ranks with all the Learn to Play hockey programs, they do it the right way, and it's the small area development, focusing on the core skills, and then it's going to end up turning the youth hockey players into it's going to accelerate their growth as they progress as a youth hockey player. But is there currently, the ice is sold out. People are fighting over it. All of us will always say we want to see rinks all 4 quadrants of the city, north, south, east, west. The amount of people that are here, but our goal is to make sure that when the new rink opens, no other rink is left unhealthy, and we continue to find ways to support and rally around each other. And I mean, just look at the job that Eric and the Storm have done in 5 years. It's remarkable, being one of the fastest growing organizations in the United States without pro hockey.
It's a good problem to have. You want more demand than there is ice, and not the other way around, right? So,
Matt, I'll add one more thing.
Yeah.
The youth programs, the girls programs, and the high school programs are all flourishing right now. But as far as the adults go, every night of the week there's leagues to be played in, different pickups and drop-ins and stick and pucks. So the interest of hockey is just growing in Houston, and with the new rink, we're really looking forward to the leagues being able to grow, and it's just amazing where every night of the week you can play hockey in Houston.
And the sad thing is, as Tush said, it's unbelievable how many people we've met also that say they no longer play hockey because it's too inconvenient from where the rinks are located. So, guys like Tush and the HaHa group, bringing women and adults who used to play, their goal is to help grow the adult sports. I mean, I look at it, I got reconnected similar to Michelle. I have a guy who I played junior with who lives out in the Katy area, and I've tried to get him back on the ice one more time. He played in the OHL, and we're just going to try everything to get people to come back and fall in love with the game again.
Okay. So the slogan is Houston is a hockey town. It's a good. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, Michelle. Let me get you here.
No, I'm not sure if my thing works properly, but anyway.
No, you're good.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Now, like Lance said, says I think we need facilities on all 4 corners and go from there. I think that in the north, there's tons of kids wants to play hockey and they can't because they have to drive so far, and that's probably the same thing on the east side. That there's no rink, and again they have to drive too far. So that's the problem. And like in Canada, we have ice rink every township. There and you can only drive maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You're at a rink. So That's that's a problem here, and I think if the NHL comes, it's going to be like Dallas. Dallas said the same thing. They only had 4 rinks. When they moved to Dallas, and now they're probably over 20 some rinks. There. So I think that's probably what's going to happen here. When or if the NHL comes here.
Very cool. So if Houston is indeed a hockey town, that can't be the case if it's just players. You know what I mean? So like we need the fan group here. Hi, I'm a representative of the fan group here. Just on your observations, what would you say is the ratio between the hockey players in town that are attending Hockey Day in Houston and the civilians? Just the guys the fans that miss having a team, the curious, whatever. What would you say that would be?
Tush, you know what I'm going to say, so you start it off.
Well, I could. The first thing comes to my mind is when we first started this, I was like, Lance, the hockey community here is going to be here, but that's it. And I was just amazed that seeing all the jerseys of all the local hockey players was nothing compared to all the spectators out there and the fans and the curious people. There's no way without all of the fans and the people that were interested in seeing what this was all about that we would get over 4,000 people in year one.
Okay.
Matt, it goes back to this. You look at it, Michel said it, when he talked to you, it's a stat we share whenever we speak with the media. There's over 30,000 Canadians in the greater Houston area. That extends out to the Beaumont, area as well. And then when you look at how many of us Northerners or guys who have come from hockey markets, just look on this call. Eric's from New York. I'm from Philadelphia. Mary's from Philadelphia. Michel, obviously Quebec. Ryan Brooks, Calgary. Tush is from, grew up around the Kings in LA. Hockey's part of us. And, there's a time that, you go to the grocery store, you go to HEB and you see that person with, whatever hockey jersey it is or a hockey shirt. And it's almost like, is that person okay? What's wrong with them? But, when we had the first Hockey Day in Houston, Michel can't find parking. He's got me. And I get into the car to help him try to find a spot. And he's punching me on the shoulder harder than he probably ever punched Bob Probert. And he's like, look at that jersey. Look at that jersey. And he's going through the entire league. And then you see the AHL jerseys and you see the IHL jerseys that were all, out there. And then you see the junior jerseys. It's just, when I go to a hockey game, I always say to my wife, just imagine, if we had 43 times a year, we could all gather, 20,000 fans, regular season exhibition that way. And just to be able to do it one day a year where everyone in Houston can come together and celebrate this, this sport, that's what's amazing. And I'll tell you, I don't think the hockey community really has been fully behind it. It's been the hockey fans because they miss it so much. And that's what makes this event so enjoyable because we're bringing people back to the game. And that's what's helping get new players at all the different levels, whether it's adult or kids.
Okay. Yeah.
Matt, yeah. Sorry, if I can add one thing, I would say that regardless where you are, like what your connection to hockey is, there's a spot for you at Hockey Day in Houston, whether you're a kid who wants to play, who loves watching, an adult who has played, an alumni, family, whomever, there's a spot for you. If you enjoy hockey, the culture, the atmosphere, all of it, you're going to find your people there. So, whatever the actual ratio is of players versus non-players, it doesn't matter because you're in good company when you come to the event.
And I'll finish it with this. This year, it's far greater in hockey. The United States right now, sorry, Brooksy and, Michel, this is, hockey's capital of the world the next 4 years at least. So, with triple gold. It's, there's a pride factor now too. So everybody really is, still talking about the Olympics. It's just even the viewership of yesterday's Paralympic, gold medal game was record breaking. So when you look at this, the opportunity right in front of us right now, every Olympic year, there's always a significant amount of growth, usually 25% of your numbers. But now with the women, the men, and the Paralympic men, women winning the gold, let's just hope that Houston can see 50 to 100% increase. And Eric Kimmel's stressing because he's got to figure out how to get all these girls on the ice.
I'm sorry, Lance. I didn't make that out. How many gold medals did the Americans win this year in hockey?
Hold on, I gotta look this up. 3.
3. How about that?
3.
Okay, yeah. At any rate, 3. Okay, so that was fun. Thanks.
And Matt, sorry,
yes.
not to cut you off, but just to add a little bit of flavor to that. So, for the second year in a row, my 80-year-old father has flown down from Calgary to participate in the event because he can't find anything like this in his area. And, Canadians can claim to be hockey lovers all they want, but Hockey Day in Houston for him is somewhere where he can come experience the excitement of thousands of hockey fans, and he can interact with all these alumni that he remembers. And he just really enjoys the energy of being a hockey fan at this event, and it's just something he has never experienced anywhere other than in Houston. So it's pretty amazing that he'll travel from Calgary here to experience it.
I'm glad you brought that up because I was wondering if Hockey Day in Houston had changed the nationwide, or I guess continent-wide, perception of Houston as a viable hockey town. And that's tangible evidence right there. I didn't know if anyone else had other stories or evidence that show us a change that Hockey Day has made for Houston's perception.
I think that's easy. I mean, luckily with what we've done, the media has picked this up and has really showcased what we've all been able to accomplish, whether, Woe and the Storm with the inaugural Girls and Women's Hockey Day in Houston to what we do. It's the whole mission has always been about sharing our love, sharing our passion, growing the sport. Yeah, I mean, hopefully one day others take notice, and they have now. Multiple national articles, national partner who has the shared interest with us, with Hockey Hot Stove, just telling the story about, hey, the not so small market Houston loves hockey, and, the group that's behind them, which is, almost every hockey organization in Houston, is really going to make a difference. And if you see what we are, the youth teams are doing right now, just imagine how quick, the development of players will be. I mean, the Dallas Stars Elite is already one of the nation's, most powerful tier 1 franchises. Once others start falling in love with hockey here, because it's something that the kids can watch on TV, and they can grow up wanting to be the next Michel Petit. I just can't imagine what hockey will be once pro hockey returns.
Very cool. And the Howe Foundation is a big part of all the goings on for this weekend. Are there any stories of the impact of the Howe Foundation that y'all would like to share?
Eric, kick it off on the impact that they did with the Storm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the name recognition as a starter is obviously tremendous, especially for, some of our families maybe who are newer to the sport. But their scholarships that they've set up, and with the focus on women, going back to Mrs. Howe, his wife. Yeah, I think last year there were 2 or 3 female scholarship winners, Lance.
Yep.
That sound right?
Very nice.
No, what I
so
can
yeah,
tell you is this.
Go ahead, Lance.
Oh no, what I can tell you is this. Anytime you get to partner with, you know, a legendary family, you know, we have conversations and say, why should you become involved? You know, we always use the term, do you know who the Howes are? And some do, most don't. And then you say, well, Gordie Howe is the equivalent of Babe Ruth for hockey. Oh, really? And then Colleen Howe is the pioneer for women in sports, you know, as an executive, you know, the first female owner of a franchise. And then, you know, they being an agent and being the reason behind. But the most important thing, I think it goes back, and I'm fortunate. I've known the Howe family for 35 plus years now. And, you know, I never heard Marc Howe say my mom. It's always been Colleen. And last year, after the banquet, he sent an email to Mary, myself, TC, and a couple others, and he said my mom's eyes would have had a twinkle when she saw. Oh, am I still live?
You are.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. It said I was reconnecting. But he said my mom's would have had a twinkle in her eyes when.
And now you're not. So the wonders of technology. All right. Well,
but to finish that thought,
yes, thank you, Eric.
The fact that the twinkle in her eye, it is a very powerful connection for us on the girls' side. And yeah, they're a legendary family. It gives instant credibility to the event, and is definitely a name draw for people interested in just learning about it. So it's an extra fun thing to be a part of, knowing they're
and I was going to say also the fact that they came back for year 2, you know, doing it again. We're the 3rd year this year, but it's their 2nd year participating, matching scholarships and donations again with us, I think is a true testament to the Howe family, the Howe Foundation, their cause in wanting to continue to involve women, children, the hockey community and the hockey culture. So we're so grateful for their partnership and that they believe in Hockey Day in Houston, in the, you know, all the what we're trying to do with the community in Houston, and love that they're a part of it for all the reasons that we just shared.
Okay. Well, thank you. So there are enough people in Houston that have never in their lives watched a shift of hockey ever. And if
you still think that's true after the Olympics? Do you still think that?
There's got to be a few, right?
Maybe.
I would hope not, but you know. But let's call this hypothetical person that's never watched hockey ever, that got dragged out to St. Arnold's this weekend by their friends who are like, no, I'm trying to get you into hockey. What is something that they should check out that might get them excited about hockey?
Go around the room. Tush, you're first.
I think if it was me and I walked into St. Arnold and didn't know a lick about hockey, the first thing I see them dunking the referees and laughing and hearing all the fun, that would hook me right there.
Very good. All right. Let's see here. Who's next?
Michelle, go ahead.
Go ahead, Michelle.
Uh-oh.
The amount of people are there, and with the different jerseys on and on, and I think, you know, that would impress me. You know, go, wow, for a city to know that doesn't have a team, this is incredible.
Very good. All righty. Ryan, how about you, sir?
You know what? I think that we had we were talking earlier today. We've got a university team. UH is playing this weekend. I think if somebody had an opportunity to go see our UH team playing, some actual guys on ice, body checking each other, flying around the ice. Just watch the speed of a real game in person. It's pretty amazing. It's definitely different than watching it on TV. And when you get to see it in real life, I think it changes your perception of the game.
Very good. Mary, how about you?
Yeah. So when Lance and I, when we first connected about Hockey Day in Houston, and we were saying let's do it like a Flyers block party, I think that's one of the cool things about the event is it almost feels like a playoff hockey game without the actual game. There's live music, there's vendors, there's drinks, there's food, there's a bunch of friendly banter and friendly rivalries. There's the different jerseys, and then you are watching the games on TV in this cool outdoor environment. So there's a buzz in the atmosphere being there, and so it's cool to be a part of.
Very cool. And let's see here. Eric, how about you, sir?
Yeah, to add, I would echo what everyone just said. Certainly the speed of the game, seeing a game live in person, there's no other sport like it. It's the instant sell. But walking into Hockey Day in Houston, I would say what also is really special about hockey is the community. And it's hard to describe. It's a very unique, just relationships that people have with each other. It's fun. I've been involved in a lot of other youth sports as well. But there is something very special about hockey relationships, and the community, and the events we put on, and that enjoyment is it's definitely visible when you enter it.
Very good. And Lance, how about
Go
you?
up to any player, any of the alumni, spend 2 minutes talking to them, and you're going to realize how great of people hockey people are. You got guys like Michel who, as much as we may banter and, chirp at each other because of our friendship, there's hockey people just have humongous hearts and passion to be able to give back. And I think that's what's awesome is that every one of our guests this year has that shared passion. And very few hockey players you ever find don't want to give back to a game that was so good to them. So just speak to the alumni for a couple minutes, speak to our committee members. They're just going to get you hooked on the game.
And I'm going to answer my own question here. If you're at St. Arnold's and you can't find someone to talk hockey with, then you're just antisocial. And if you miss talking hockey from a fan perspective, since 2013, there you go. You can do it. You can do it at Hockey Day. Absolutely. Okay. So how about the last push, the final hard sell? I don't think anyone watching this really needs to be talked into it, but just in case, this weekend we're starting at what time on Saturday?
We're starting on Friday night.
Well, okay, this is true. I was talking about the day itself.
Yeah,
all right, fine.
no,
So
no.
let's get to the banquet then. All right. So tell us about the banquet there, Lance.
Really, when Marc Howe came to us and Marty and Mary, they offered the $25,000 match. We had to come up with a way that we knew we could raise some money. And, after the Houston Aeros had their 50th anniversary here in Houston in September 23, it really became like an opportunity to do something special as a small fundraiser to get people back engaged and honor, the sport. So what we've done is we've tried to figure out to have a banquet, add value to it. So you get dinner, drinks. Longhorn Liquor has got whiskey and tequila tasting. Maker's Mark's going to be doing the red dipped glasses as part of the event. There's tons of partners to be able to make this event a huge success. But at the end of the day, it's really about, it's a unique opportunity to hear the stories in a more intimate way. And, I shared with the group this morning, we had almost a 25% growth of last year's sold out crowd of, 200. We're at 240 tickets sold, as of this morning when we had to take it offline. So it just shows you how many people are truly interested and want to really give back and, hear the stories of Houston hockey.
And that was a really good time last year. And I know you and I talked about bang for buck that banquet has. Okay. So, but for those that didn't get their ticket, because like you said, it got closed today. Hockey Day in Houston, St. Arnold, Saturday. People should get there when?
We'll have people there as early as 9 a.m. just like last year. So St. Arnold's opens at 11. We try to make it, we gave it a little bit of a Texas feel. So we have an alumni walk to the stage. All these details will be out, but that'll start around 11:50, 11:55. They're going to walk on the stage, be introduced to everybody. All the alumni are going to have a jersey. You can see Michelle's and Pete Donnelly's jersey behind me, along with some of our Arrows alumni. But the goal is just, it's a fan fest. It's a way to allow the sport to grow, bring fans out, and, tell the story of what Houston hockey is and what it's become. And, we know that there's a lot of eyes on us through this event now. It's been shared with us multiple times. And that's what rallies us, is that we want to continue to show, the people that are watching us across the world that, come out, support us, and watch what Houston can be as a hockey town.
Very good.
Yep.
Okay, so I'll just throw this open to whoever wants to respond. Any last minute stuff that we want to add? Anything that we may have overlooked? Anything about Hockey Day that may get overlooked by a casual observer here?
Well, Matt, I'll just add
Sure.
that the event, a hard sale, it's free to come out here and enjoy the day and see the passion and be part of it. Plenty of parking. We encourage share riding. That's always best to do, but plenty of parking. It's going to be a beautiful day, maybe a little bit on the warm side. So, still, see all the people in jerseys and, come on out. You can bring the kids. There'll be Zamboni, pictures with the Zamboni. There's all kinds of, social media opportunities to take pictures and just be a part of a really special day and waving the future for a sport that's going to be in Houston eventually.
Thank you, Tush, because I keep saying, we really overlooked that this is a free event, and that needs to be talked about more, and then I neglected to do exactly that. So thank you for that. Okay, well, is there anything else, or do you think that we covered everything regarding Hockey Day?
Well, just Matt, I'm going to chime in. Just look at the impact that we've made. It's not Hockey Day in Houston. It's Hockey Day in Houston powered by Main Event. And that's because, the opportunity to partner with a major, organization, restaurant chain, entertainment chain. There's just, they see what our passion has been, and we're going to say thank you to them all the way along the lines. And then, that doesn't go along with all the other sponsors, who believe in what we're doing. I know I don't want to reveal our fundraising goal, but it's going to be, jaws are going to drop when we announce the total dollar figure that we've raised this year. All because we're doing the right thing and being good people. I see the question, will there be street hockey? This is a family-friendly event. There's street hockey. There's mascots, Chili, Victory Green, the Ice Girls from the Dallas Stars. We got the Houston Sled. Oh my gosh, the Houston Hellhounds sled hockey team. they're going to be offering a demonstration to be able to showcase that, how adaptable hockey is, and help grow sled hockey in Houston. There's American Special Hockey Association is looking to get into the market, and they're extremely passionate behind this. So there's a free clinic at 1 p.m. for those with special needs. We got Rita's water ice, as another way to, just cool off, besides the St. Arnold's food. But brand names, they want to be, behind us. And there's still more to be announced in the next couple of days because, the job that everyone has done is just, it's phenomenal. And it's because everybody who's a hockey fan, they've now, I believe, have heard about it. If you haven't, spread the word to someone who knows hockey. But we want to see 10,000 people at St. Arnold's this year through the day. That's our goal. You're going to say, well, where are they going to go? St. Arnold's has a plan to, make the adjustments. And if anyone was to ever complain that 10,000 hockey fans showed up to St. Arnold's, pretty sure we're going to say, would you ever believe 10,000 hockey fans would show up? And that's what we said in year one after 4,000 because, we were expecting 500 and we got 4,000. So there's no reason why we can't get 10,000 this year and showcase why Houston's a hockey town. Get involved with hockey, come back to the game, fall in love, play it again. And let's, use that momentum to see, new projects like Michel's Blue Line Slap Shot be successful and more ice is available for all of us.
Yeah. This town can fill an arena, no question. I cannot overemphasize. It is a stupid amount of fun. Just going there as just some dude the first and second year. Took my son, took the wife, and yes, indeed, should be.
And look at the people that you met, Matt. Look at the people
that I met. Indeed, yes, not to discount that.
You got to meet Victory Green. We've seen that picture of you with the selfie with Victory Green.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. There is a framed photo of the wife and I in our game room, me, her, and Chili Dog. But it's like one of our best pictures, so whatever. All right, so I think we've covered everything. So unless there's anything last minute, I'm going to put y'all backstage. I'll close this out if you'll be patient and wait a minute for my little outro to happen, just so the YouTube thumbnails can get in there. And thank you all so much for joining. Good meeting some of y'all. And if nothing else, we'll see you Friday and Saturday. All righty then. One moment.
Matt.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.